Last week, Sportsman, I kicked the show off in a snowstorm, doing the same thing this week, but we have an added problem. Sometime in the past few days, the public television satellite went on the fritz, so we have to get this show Federal Express to the state of Virginia to uplink it so you can see it. I presume if you're seeing it, the connection was made. Hey, we're not going to let this weather get us down. Stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. You're watching The Practical Sportsman. When the ice cracks when you walk on it, it isn't all that thick. Yeah, that was the sound of ice cracking. Jim Romine and John Ford walked on by, left Matt Radzilowski holding the camera, but he didn't mind. I said the ice wasn't all that thick. It wasn't all that thin either. I mean, what I'm saying is, this was the first ice fishing trip of the season. John and Matt are looking forward to thicker ice as the season progresses.
How's the ice?
Oh, there's plenty of ice. We're standing out here.
What kind of fish can we expect to catch out here, Jim?
Well, we can catch walleye, northern pike, occasional largemouth, panfish. We can catch crappie, bluegill, perch, maybe a warmouth.
So it's good all through here then?
Good all through here. A lot of structure, a lot of place for the fish to be, and they move in and out of here all day long. The pike chase them around. You'll catch 5 or 10, and then it'll be an hour lull. They'll be back in. You'll catch 5 or 10 more, a couple pike in the meantime, maybe.
Well, that is a cooler that Matt Radzilowski is carrying. Actually, coolers are used in the winter to keep the minnows from freezing. So I guess in the winter we could call them warmers instead of coolers.
I'm putting on a lake herring that we caught up, and this was either out of Crystal Lake or Higgins Lake. We're going to try to get a very large northern pike to take this. They tend to prefer dead bait. It's much safer for them. They've seen stuff hanging under tip-ups and trolled behind boats, and out of habit they've learned that they can pick deadfall up. It's easier to digest for them, doesn't take as much energy to break it down, and maybe we can fool one with it.
That is a very large, I mean, are you serious?
Yes, very serious. Actually, it wouldn't take a very large pike to swallow that bait at all. 24-inch pike could take that down with no problem at all. So we just let that sit right on the bottom, and if the flag goes, we'll know that he didn't trip it because he's dead.
So you don't have any success with live minnows at all then?
Yeah, we do, but you tend not to catch very many trophy fish on them. If you're fishing for a 20-pound plus pike in southern Michigan, I've found that dead bait is pretty successful.
Well, Jim Romine knows his ice fishing. He's been at it for years. He uses a variety of techniques. With frozen smelt, he uses what's called a quick strike rig, 2 number 12 treble hooks on light line. Quick strike rigs also work with live bait. This is a shiner minnow, good for pike or walleye. The first hook goes right behind its head, just underneath the skin. And the trailer hook goes behind the dorsal fin, again, just under the skin. Now, these are small hooks. The minnow can swim and look natural. The pike or walleye can grab it without really feeling the hooks. Now, this is a common rig for pike on a tip-up. You might wonder about the monofilament line. Sure, you lose some to the pike's teeth, but you get a lot more strikes with light line than with wire leader. Now, the first ice fishing trip of the year is very educational for fishermen. You begin to remember the zippers on the ice shanty that were a little difficult. You start trying to remember where you put your pliers or your hemostats. You start thinking about things like sharpening your hooks or maybe even sharpening the blades on your ice auger.
Blades could be a little sharper this season, I do believe.
On in the next few weeks, there will be hundreds, if not thousands, of anglers who will remember that their auger blades aren't very sharp. That's where the buddy system comes into play.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, teamwork.
A little teamwork.
Makes it a little easier.
Great weather out here, by the way, if you're a polar bear. 3 degrees out, wind's blowing about 25 miles, or no, about 20 miles an hour probably. Give it a try.
Once the holes are drilled, you can move the ice shanty into place. Take off your coat, warm up the lantern or catalytic heater, rig up a small minnow and a teardrop on a bluegill rig, maybe pour a cup of coffee, and get into the action.
You're right, they did come by. all of our rods just went down at the same
Careful
time.
that top hook catches there.
Yep, and it just did catch too. But he's still on here, I think. Oh, yeah.
Not a bad gill.
No, sir.
Careful, don't let that other one tangle you.
Not too shabby. And he did take her down.
Let me see, I'll show you the trick.
Not too
for that.
bad. Oh, we got a trick?
Well, we don't have any hemostats here, so I might be able to get it out of there
Show the
without.
camera.
This was kind of an embarrassing moment for Jim Romine, the man who has everything, all the ice fishing equipment you could ever want. Well, he did last season. I mean, it's in his garage or basement or someplace. Using his fingers to take that hook out wasn't very comfortable, but he retrieved the hook and the bait.
That one we will keep.
Yeah, you just keep and just put
Back
it
we
back down.
go. Yep, didn't even need to rebait.
If your hands are slimy.
The key to ice fishing is to sit inside where it's warm, pan fishing, watching the tip-ups outside. The tip-up flags are supposed to pop up when a fish has the bait.
It was moving, but the flag didn't come up.
Well, could have been the minnow. He seems to be way off the other side.
Yeah, line's way off that way.
Nobody home as of yet. I think I feel a shiner swimming.
Yeah.
No, that feels a little more resistance than a shiner to me.
Is it really?
Yeah, something's there. Unless he got into the...
In the weeds.
There's a small fish there.
Small fish?
Feels like a northern.
Well, that didn't take long. Yeah, there he is.
Sublegal.
How about that?
Yeah.
Sublegal.
There's the shiner.
Jim, I can't say I say much for your flags.
No,
His flag didn't go off at
That's
all.
strange. Could you run over and grab Matt's pliers?
Sure
Or
will.
Matt,
Yep.
grab them?
It's kind of hard for me
Yeah.
to do right now, Jim.
Yeah, it's a little hard for you to run over there, Matt. It's strange that the flag didn't go up, though. But you guys were right.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Take a look at your flag real quick.
If I can get untangled from my monofilament nest here.
Show us what was happening.
Well, I think that there's been a little bit of moisture in my spring here.
Yeah. Well, I came over and I saw that thing turning around like crazy, and
Yeah, that happens. And good thing you guys noticed it. He'd have gotten more of these hooks in his mouth. Oh, come on, open up. This is where you get your hands cut.
well, you don't have to demonstrate that part for us if you don't want to.
I'm gonna try not to, but I don't want to injure this fish. So I think what I'm gonna do is just
Cut it.
cut it, and that hook will rot right out of him. Eventually, retie.
There he goes.
Extra good splash there.
Well done.
Thanks, sir.
Yes,
Now
sir.
you got your hands wet and fishy?
That's okay. Hopefully it won't be the last time today.
No, I'm sure it won't. There's so many pike in here, you can literally get sick of chasing tip-ups.
But now how do you evaluate your setup here? Because the dead ones didn't produce for us.
Well, that was a small fish too. So I'm fishing the
That's
odds
true.
on the big fish out here. And there's a surplus of the small pike in this lake. They're actually a nuisance. Once we get pan fishing in there, almost sure that we'll hook and maybe land one on the light line.
Well, that's a heck of a bluegill you got there, huh?
Yeah, oh, there he goes. He cut it. He got my favorite hooks. Gone. Oh, well.
Pike.
Mr. Pike, yeah, I
See
saw
him,
him.
or-
Yeah, I could see him. He wasn't real big, but just big enough to take my hooks away from me.
Well, that's what happens when you're pan fishing with 2-pound test line. I mean, for panfish, though, you can't beat it. Some fishermen use monofilament thread for bluegills and crappie.
Oh, it's pike. But there he goes.
There he goes.
He got a good look at you. He didn't like that.
That's a typical reaction.
It's not huge, but
He might be legal.
that is
Supposed to be
phenomenal. That
illegal.
was a huge. What did we put down there, herring?
That was a smelt on that one.
Smelt one on this one. Oh yeah, I'll say he's not bad. Oh, there he goes.
Oh, you're kidding.
Bit it off.
Nope, just bit it off.
Right at the hole.
Did you see that at all, Matt?
Yeah, it was right there.
Man.
Well, that's fishing.
How big was that one?
He was pretty close to, he was worth measuring. I would say he was probably 23, 24.
Oh, yeah. I think he's bigger than that, to tell you the truth.
The
Well,
fisherman
no.
always
But
thinks
we
it's
can
bigger.
think he's as big as we want right now.
That's right. He could have been 20 pounds.
Now, what's coming up is Matt Radzilowski setting up the camera for a scenic shot just at the time the flag popped.
Flag up over here. He's running.
Flag?
Yep.
Go ahead, Jim. Let me get this one. Sure. Here, I'll take that, Jim. Go ahead. Yeah, he was really taking that thing out. I mean, wasn't he, Matt?
Yeah, he was ripping.
There he goes again.
Yep.
He's there. Small fish.
Small fish, huh?
Now, here's how you work a tip-up line. No reel, just good old-fashioned hand-over-hand fishing action. Now, some tip-ups are made with reels, but most ice fishermen would rather do it the old-fashioned way. It's faster. Something about it is more fun. I think it's because you can feel that fish right through the line.
He says, no, I want to keep going.
Just a little one.
It was a piker.
Yep, little pike.
Yeah, this was just another little pike. I mean, it's a good-sized fish, but for northern pike, it's not even legal. Has to be 24 inches in Michigan. You can catch pike with live minnows, hooked with one hook or a quick strike rig. Same goes for using frozen bait. I mean, it sounds strange, but big pike will pick up dead bait right off the bottom. It's been done many times. For pan fishing, light line will catch many more fish than heavy line. 2-pound test is ideal. Get yourself a tip-up, pan fishing rod, portable shanty for warmth, catch some fish, then watch the Practical Sportsman. We'll show you some fish recipes that'll make the coldest day on ice very worthwhile. Bobby Lyons from Prudenville came up with a scrumptious recipe called fish and cheese puffs that uses 1.5 cups of cooked flaked fish. Now, that could be bluegill, pike, salmon, whatever. Mix the boneless fish with 1.5 cups of shredded cheddar cheese, a stick of margarine, 1 tablespoon of mayo, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half cup of green onion tops, finely chopped. Stir this mixture and spread it on English muffins, which are on a cookie sheet. Cut the muffins into quarters, sprinkle with paprika, then freeze these for at least 30 minutes. Then you pop them into a 350-degree oven for 20 minutes. Now, some people dot them with hot sauce and serve with green onions, but they're super just the way they come out of the oven. That's fish and cheese puffs, a great way to serve fish. Dave Clemens from North Branch asked a question about a special Upper Peninsula archery hunting rule that appears on page 7 of the Michigan Hunting and Trapping Guide. Now, under Rules for Deer Hunting in the Upper Peninsula, the guide refers to a rule change. In deer management units open to the taking of antlerless deer during the firearm deer season, the second archery deer license will be valid only for antlerless deer. Now, the map of deer management units can be found in the application guide for antlerless deer hunting licenses, and these units cover most of the southern counties of the UP. The rule says that in those areas, the second archery license is for does only. Now, this is opposite of the rule in the rest of the state, which has always been that the second archery license is for bucks only. The problem is, how would a hunter who is transporting a doe tagged with the second license, which would be illegal in most of the state, prove to a conservation officer that he got that doe in one of those UP management units? Sal Ghani, John Ford, and I went round and round trying to figure out what this meant. We talked, we compared sentences, but we couldn't agree as to how this rule could be implemented. Sal Ghani has sent a Freedom of Information Act request to the DNR asking for the documents that show where this rule came from. We want to find out whether this is a valid rule, and if it is, exactly what it means and how it's to be enforced. We'll report the DNR's response in 2 weeks. Greenwood Reservoir up in Marquette County. A lot of big fish come from that country. The old red and white daredevil was the lure that took this almost 22-pound northern pike, almost 4 feet long. Ralph Ewell from Ishpeming,
Michigan.
This is old hat for you.
No, not really.
I mean, you're a youper.
Oh,
You
yeah.
catch these things all the time, eh?
No, not all the time. First one, Fred. That's the first one we caught like that. We were crappie fishing when we caught this
Oh
one.
no.
Yeah.
Crappie fishing. Oh, must have been a little daredevil.
No, red and white. Good size. I
But
put it on. I put it on. And crappies quit biting, so we put a red and white daredevil on,
okay.
and
Just fiddling around.
then
Now this is
But-
your son.
this is my son.
What's your
Jake.
name?
Jake?
Jake. And were you with your dad at the time?
Yeah. We're both fishing for the crappies, and when he put a daredevil on and started trying for pike.
So once he hooked this thing and knew he had a big one, you saw your dad like you've never seen him before, huh?
Yeah.
I think he got a little bit more excited than I did.
Oh yeah, both
Yeah.
of you were.
Yeah, we had our
Little dog
our
with
little
us.
black cocker spaniel with us, and she was up in the front of the boat. When it came up to the surface the first time, we both just sat there looking at it.
The trophy tails you see on the Practical Sports. Ooh, and you got this?
Yep.
And you are 6 years old, or were 6 when you caught it?
Yeah, and now I'm 7.
Yeah, 7. I thought you looked a little older than 6. Just kind of had that feeling. But this brown trout you caught, 3 pounds, 4 ounces, 23.5 inches long, from the Cedar River up in Clare County. First part of May, and you were on shore casting a redworm. Who took you fishing?
My dad took me fishing, and my grandpa and my dad were fishing, and then they got tired a little, and then so I was just fishing off the bridge, and then all of a sudden this came out, and my dad thought it was a snake while they were drinking beer.
Grandpa. Were you unwinding a little bit?
A little bit. A little bit.
So you're sort of tipping back, so to speak, and your grandson got this
Yeah.
fish on.
And we couldn't hardly get it in the net because this is how small the net was.
This. Whoa! Look at that net. That is a small one.
Because we were fishing for brook trout, so
Holy cow! Well, who netted it?
my dad did.
Your dad did, and Grandpa was up. He was working the cooler, huh?
Yeah.
I see. Well, this is one terrific fish. Did you handle the rod the whole time all by yourself?
Yep.
Well, that's neat. Any idea how long it took to haul it in? Seemed like a long time?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, something like that? Man, that is something else. Well, you have a fish that I'm sure a lot of people envied and got it mounted, 3 pounds, 4 ounces, 23.5 inches long. And no, Grandpa, you're not getting our Bud Light. But we love you, man. We love you. Congratulations. Now, here's how you work a tip-up line. No reel, just good old-fashioned hand-over-hand fishing action. Now, some tip-ups are made with reels, but most ice fishermen would rather do it the old-fashioned way. It's faster. Something about it is more fun. I think it's because you can feel that fish right through the line.
He says, no, I want to keep going.
Just a little one.
There's a piker.
Yep, little pike.